Welcome to this session on approving and implementing changes as part of the change management and the project execution. So, as we say that change is constant factor in project management. No matter how well a project is planned, there will be always modifications, adjustments, and enhancement requested during the execution. However, approving and implementing the changes without a structured process can lead to scope creep, cost overrun, and schedule delays. To prevent this, the PMI emphasizes the importance of following a formal change control process, ensuring that every change is justified, analyzed, approved, and probably implemented and documented. In this session, we'll explore evaluating the change request through a structured process, as we've discovered also, ensure the stakeholder alignment with the approved changes, and implement the changes effectively while minimizing the project disruption, how to maintain documentation to track all of the modification and compliance transparency. And to start with understanding what exactly is a change control process. As a definition, it's a formalized framework for evaluating, approving, and tracking changes to project. And without a well-structured process, projects can easily draft out of control due to the unapproved modifications, shifting requirements, and unmanaged risks. As a, let's say a simple definition here, we say that it's a systematic approach to evaluate and approve the project changes. It ensures that changes are aligned with the project objectives, scope, and constraints. Also, it will help you preventing unauthorized modifications that can lead to scope creep. The team follows a structured change control process. By first, we say that you need to submit the change request. And in an example here, let's take an example of imagine of a software development project for banking application. Halfway through development, the client requests an additional security features such as two-factor authentication and biometric login. While these features add a value, they require an additional coding, testing, and regulatory approvals. So the team here can follow this structured change control process by first submitting the change request, where the security team submits a formal request detailing the new requirements with its benefits. Next, you need to do impact analysis. So the project manager evaluates how will the change affect the cost, schedule, resource, and risks. Next, when you submit the change request with the possible impact analysis, the change control board or the CCB decision. So the change control board reviews the request, assess its visibility, and either approve it, reject it, or defers it. Based on that decision, whether to approve it or not, in case if it's approved, it goes for the implementation and tracking. So the development team updates their backlog and ensures that change is implemented without disrupting the project timelines. And without this structured approach, the client request could have led to a missed deadlines, budget overruns, and security compliance issues. The Change Control Board or the CCB, who are they? So the CCB is responsible for approving, rejecting, or deferring changes, and they consist of project sponsors, stakeholders, technical expert, and project managers. And that will ensure the CCB will ensure decisions are made based through impact analysis. The CCB team ensures that the project decisions are aligned with the strategic goals and minimize the risks. Now let's look into criteria for change approval. So every change request is assessed using predefined approval criteria. And all of these criteria are business based. So the business might evaluate these changes based on the value and necessity. And they also let's say, assess these changes based on the impact, the cost, or yeah, based on the impact on cost, scope, and quality. Also, as we say that it has also to consider the project risks assessment by asking whether this change might introduce a high risks. And let's take an example here. Let's say a pharmaceutical R&D research and development project. A proposal to change a drug formulation must be evaluated for first for the regulatory compliance. Will it meet the FDA or the EMA requirements? Cost and visibility, when they can ask themselves whether this can or with this formula can be mass produced efficiently. An impact on timelines, will this change delay the drug approval, for example? If the change enhances the drug efficiency without regulatory hardness or excessive costs, it gets approved. Communicating the approved changes. So, changes approval must be clearly communicated to all of the stakeholders. So, ensure all of the stakeholders are well informed about these decisions. And also, you may provide an updated project plans, timelines, and impact reports in case if you're or in case if that change has been approved. Clear communication prevents misalignment, confusion, and execution delays. After your, let's say, change is approved, ensure that you update the project documentation. Change logs must be maintained and accessible by the project team. And also any updates to the scope, the project scope, the cost, schedule, and risk register. All of these project documentation must be updated in case if one of these change requests has been approved based on the assessment. So when we say that when you assess the impact on the time, on the cost, on the risks, and the timeline that is needed to be implemented with these changes, you need to update all of the existing project documents to ensure that they align with whatever change impact is proper to do. And failure to update the documentation could lead to production errors or compliance issues and maybe safety risks. So ensure that you capture all of these aspects and ensure that you update all of the project documentation to align with the new changes. Now let's look into how to implement the changes effectively after it gets approved. You need to assign responsibilities for the change execution. So if the project original scope was to install 100 server in 100 location, think of adding 20 more servers or locations. You need to assign new responsibilities to complete the other 20 locations or installation of the servers. Also, you need to integrate the change into the project workflow. Let's take an example here in an IT system upgrade. If the patient data security protocol changes, the IT team must implement the new encryption mechanism, train the hospital staff on updated security procedures, also monitor the potential security breaches. And a structured implementation plans ensure a seamless transition with minimal disruption. In summary, we say that effective change management is a critical aspect of project execution. A well defined process ensures that the changes are evaluated, approved, implemented, and monitored effectively, preventing a scope creep and project delays. By following the best practices such as conducting through impact analysis before approving a change, ensuring these stakeholders are well informed about the approved modification, and ensuring the updates to all of the project documentation to reflect these changes, tracking the outcomes of the implemented changes to validate their effectiveness. Project remains aligned uh, with objectives, budget, and schedules. An effective change management leads to improved project success rates and stakeholder satisfaction.